For our second video, we're now going to take a look at what if your C value is negative. Okay, in order to multiply get a negative, that means they're opposite signs. You have to take a positive and a negative. Okay? Now, when I make my chart, I always like to start with 1 and then work my way down. So this will always be, on my charts, this is always the smaller number, this is the larger number. For example, with 10, I do 1 and 10, and then I go 2 and 5. Now, to get a negative though, one of these has to be negative. So I look and say, all right, what does it have to add to be? It adds to be a positive. So that means the larger number's got to be positive. So I make these negative and say, all right, well, this adds to be -9, this adds to be 3. Oh, here's the winner. So once again, if it multiplies to be a negative, I have one of each, and then I figure out which column is which. So I'll even put up here, right? The larger one is positive, and that would be negative. So that way I don't have to sometimes people want to write a list like this. They'll do this, and then they'll say, oh, well, it could also be this multiplies to be -10, and this multiplies to be -10. I don't like to make a really long list. So I just write how many ways can I multiply to get 10, and then I figure out, are both positive, are both negative, is one positive, one negative, and that way I just use one list. You sort of see, oh, this is what I get. So when I write my factor form, it's x minus 2 and x plus 5. And once again, I know right away they're going to be opposite signs because it multiplies to be a negative. We're actually going to go over to number 3 at this point. We'll come back to number 2 because this one is another one that multiplies to be a negative, but this time it adds to be a negative as well. So right away when I see it adds to be -4, that means the larger one this time is going to be negative. So when I add them together, I'll get a negative number. So I know now the smaller one's positive, and this is negative. So when I write my list, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, I know the larger ones here are negative. And I say, all right, which one of these has to be negative? Ah, right here. So the factor form is x plus 2, x minus 6. Okay, so once again, so larger one's negative because it adds to be a negative. Right. So now you've seen one of each. So let's go to number 2. What I want you to do real quick is when I put -18 here and then it adds to be 3, which side gets the positive and which side gets the negative? So let me give you a second and write that. Which one will be positive, which one is negative? Now remember, these are the smaller numbers, these are the larger ones. Since it adds to be a positive, the larger ones will be positive. So you put that, good job. So as I write my list now of what multiplies to be 18, I will now make the smaller ones negative. And now when I add these, this adds up to be 17. This adds up to be 7. Ah, this here adds up to be 3. So factor form is x minus 3, x plus 6. Okay? All right, so that's factoring. So you have the rest of this sheet now. You have the problems on the bottom to do. Okay, don't forget when you're done, you can check your answer with the answer key, take a picture of your work, and submit it on Google Classroom. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I will be back. Sorry for being gone with the conference and with the regionals, but hopefully everything's going well.